Hey YouTube, Frosty here. I want to talk to you about something tonight, and what it is service agreements. Now, if you're a homeowner or a home renter, or if you live in a home, one of the things that appliance companies offer you is a service agreement. Siemens used to do this. The company that installs and services your air conditioner is a big one. That's what I'm griping about tonight, okay? A lot of the times what ends up happening is you pay these guys hundreds of dollars a year. What they end up doing is they come out every few months, maybe every 6 months. They throw a filter in your air conditioner and, maybe sell you a service or, hose out your condenser once every 10 years. Something simple, and then they split and they get a bunch of money. A lot of us don't think about it, and what they advertise, or usually what you think you're getting, is Johnny on the spot to come over and fix your shit when it breaks down. And let me tell you what really happens. Now, we recently went on vacation. Just before we left, about 3-4 days before we split, the air conditioner quit working, and it was the hottest time of the year. I mean, we were going through a little heat wave. Now at work, everything that had been running for months and months and months was breaking down, and it was chaos, okay? Bad time for the air conditioner to shit the bed. Now, we called our local air conditioner company who, they had a service agreement long before I came around and moved in. The wife's dad actually owned this house, and we're buying the sisters out. That's neither here nor there. But they had a service agreement with this company. They came out. Now, I was at work at the time. Apparently what the guy did was took the side cover off the unit outside, put his hand on the side of the compressor and said, "Oh, it's overheating, you need a new unit. It's going to be $6,700. Now, okay, did he put gauges on it? Did he get out a meter and check anything? Did he do anything except put his hand on the side of the compressor? Well, apparently not. Now, my brother was here, and he told me exactly what went down, and I trust him. He doesn't let anybody in the house without watching them. And truth be told, it was hot. He was nervous. We were going out of town. He was ready to pull out $3,500, buy a new unit, and we were going to put it in. And I said, just wait, sit tight. Let's take a look first. Let's see what's really going on. So I brought home a very simple tool from work. We're lucky. I am not an air conditioning expert, nor am I a refrigeration expert, but I do work on quite a few reach-in freezers and some big ice makers and swamp coolers and, simple systems. I can install a mini split. It just takes some basic knowledge, and if you have a little bit of knowledge or learn just a little bit about some of these things, even stuff you can watch on YouTube, and have some of the most basic tools, you can save yourself from a catastrophe. Now, $6,700, to a lot of people that doesn't seem like a lot of money. You can throw that on a couple of credit cards, but that's a monthly payment that can really be a kick in the pants. And if you had to come out of pocket all at once for that, that could be catastrophic. That could spoil, all kinds of plans. So what I did was I brought home some gauges. Now, this is a little set of stubbies that I use at work. Let's see if I can get this camera to reverse. Let's see. There we go. This is just a high side gauge and a low side gauge. So what I did was I plugged these two into the system and I read the pressures. Now, what I found was that the high side pressure was below normal, and the low side pressure, or what you'd call the suction, was actually very low. I felt the compressor, it didn't seem hot, and the guy that came out and checked it out had showed my brother, if you push this button, it'll override the safety and it'll keep running. Well, that was a contactor. That wasn't an internal overload in the compressor that was going off. So that seemed fishy to me right then and there. We added a little gas to the system. The head pressure did not go up. It stayed right where it was, like the compressor's not doing any work. And the suction pressure went down, which is awfully strange. And that, on a reach-in refrigerator or a small system, indicates a restriction. Well, there's only one part in that system that can be a restriction. And this may save you someday. This is the expansion valve. This little bulb right here has some copper tape around it, and they fix that to the suction line going back to the unit or back to the compressor. This little guy here piggybacks from just a little fitting sticking out of one of the copper lines. I believe it's the suction line. And this is basically a throttle in your discharge line where the liquid coming from the compressor, or from the condenser actually, goes into the evaporator, gases off, and carries the hot air out. The hot air goes out through the condenser. That's just the refrigeration cycle. That's basics. But anyway, this is the only spot in the system that could be a restriction. So I called Lennox. They're local. Lennox won't sell to you unless you're an air conditioning contractor. Pain in the ass. So I called Johnstone Supply and Allied Refrigeration. I got about the same answer, $260 to $275. No, it's not in stock. I just happened to look on Amazon. $64. It'll be here tomorrow. I said, sold. So we pumped the unit down. In order to do that, you close off your discharge line and run the compressor and let it draw all that gas, everything in the system, back up into the receiver, or in our case, the big scroll compressor, and then you shut that line. So basically, you've used the compressor, since it was still running, to pull all your Freon back into the unit outside. And at that point, you can open the lines, or at least the lines apart from the unit itself, and not lose your whole charge, not lose all your gas. Minimal discharge into the atmosphere. You're losing maybe an ounce. So we did that. We replaced this valve. We put a vacuum on it for about 10 or 15 minutes, which textbook, if we weren't in a hurry, we would have installed a filter dryer and evacuated it down to 500 microns. Well, we didn't do that, but it's okay. We fired the unit up. It worked flawlessly, just like a brand new unit. Well, to me, $64 is a lot better than $6,700. Now back to my mug. The tools we needed to do this were very basic. A set of manifold gauges. That would be those two gauges I showed you with the little brass manifold. Now that'll consist of just a brass log with 3 hoses, a couple of valves on the end. Now you can get that anywhere between $30 and $150, depending on how nice a piece you want to get. We needed, basically all you need to get the valve out is a couple of crescent wrenches, maybe a screwdriver, and a sharp knife or a razor knife to cut back the insulation and pull that little valve out. So there was really nothing that special that we needed to do the job. You do need a vacuum pump. You can get one of them at Harbor Freight, or I like the little Robin Air guys that you get on Amazon for $99. You can climb up a ladder with them, sling them up on top of a reach-in refrigerator if you're working on one. And, they work good. They hold up. You just keep the oil changed. Anyway, it's a real small investment. If it's something that you want to learn how to service yourself, it can save you a lot of money in the long run. And knowing just enough about it to be dangerous ended up saving us $6,600 and change. So that's huge. Anyway, I guess my gripe is, well, you give these guys money year after year after year. Now, they've had a service agreement with this company for maybe 30 years. That's $9,000 they've given these guys for a few paper filters that you can get at Home Depot for, $27. And you can throw in yourself for, nothing. Something to think about. Anyway, that's my gripe for today.